If you're jealous of where I was sitting at the Beyonce concert, that's okay, honey. I would be too. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I'm here to review episode 1 of the season 2 premiere of the Real Housewives arguing about who's sitting closer to Beyonce of Dubai. We start the episode off after waiting almost 10 years for season 2, and it's so bittersweet, like Fantasia, the way the whole season opens up, because we see the two besties, Chanel Ayan and Lisa Milan. They're hanging out, they're having fun, they're getting along, but currently in real time, spoiler alert, it's no longer like that anymore. Their friendship that they have between each other is down the toilet, and that's sad to see because they have so much history between each other, and just like that, after one season, it's over. You know, they probably called each other right before filming like, yeah, we need a storyline, Lisa. Let's hate each other for the whole season and let's make up at the reunion for season 3. I'll see you in the morning for brunch. Goodbye. Like, I see what they're up to. But we see Lisa Milan, she's waiting at a tennis court. I mean, a paddle court, because she says paddling is similar to tennis, even though she didn't explain the difference. Like, it's all the same thing. But I don't know, you know, that's too rich for me. And speaking of, you know, one thing about the Real Housewives of Dubai, they have a one-up on every other franchise because every single thing that they do on the show, they make it feel so luxurious and expensive. Like, they literally called me broke 15 different times within the first 2 minutes of this premiere. By the end of the episode, I was just watching this like, you know, maybe I should get a second job. Like, let me go look at my bank account really quickly. Maybe I should return that new shirt that I bought. And like Lisa Milan, she's literally standing there in the middle of the tennis court and she just looks like she's just making money by breathing. Like, she's just like instead of breathing in oxygen, she's breathing in money. And I love it too because from what I've seen from the other Real Housewives lately, yikes. But you know, we see Chanel Ayan, and of course in her head, she's walking Fashion Week, right? She's just, you know, walk for me, walk for me, walk for me in her couture. She's wearing her life jacket. I'm not sure what that was. You know, I thought she was gonna go swimming or something. She's wearing these interesting looking gloves. She's looking like she's about to go ride a motorcycle. We start seeing the cracks within their friendship because in the confessional, shout out to the confessionals because they still continue doing the full body look. I love Lisa's red look with the 2 pointy titties, as well as Ayan, the rose headpiece with the rose dress, the rose shoes. Just so perfect. But she explains that, you know, Ayan is not really sporty like that. She's only coming out here because she doesn't want Lisa to hang out with her other friends. And then Ayan confirms this in person and she tells Lisa, you know, I'm coming out here to play with you because I don't want you hanging out with other people. So already we're seeing that Ayan, you know, she's a very jealous and territorial and possessive person with her friendship with Lisa. So I don't know, Ayan. I feel like this whole situation between both of you is gonna be your fault, but we'll see how it plays out. Lisa brings up how they were all in attendance for this grand opening of this hotel in Dubai. The hotel looked really, really pretty, and of course, Beyonce was the grand opening performance. Well, closing. You know, that was her infamous. Wait a minute, I sounded kind of good, right? You know, and of course, Beyonce is dragged into some housewives mess. You know, I wonder if she's ever just laying in bed next to Jay-Z, watching TV, watching the housewives like, you know, babe, I was thinking of finally putting out my visuals for my Renaissance album tomorrow. What do you think? I shouldn't, right? I should wait 2 more years? You know what? I'll give it 4 more years and then I'll release it. Maybe. I love everybody begging me and I'm not going to give them what I want. Wait, did they just mention me on the Housewives? Like, wait a minute, I didn't give these bitches permission to use my likeness for a storyline. Like, she's always dragged into something and she's always the center of everything in this world, right? But, you know, Lisa says that this was a very, very, very exclusive event. Like, you couldn't buy your way into it. You needed to just be invited somehow. And it's just so cool that, you know, they all have that type of connection, that type of power in Dubai to be invited to such thing like this. Because I remember watching all of their Instagram stories when this event was happening. And I was just so fascinated that they were that close to Beyonce at this private event. She says that her and Ayan, they were in the V.V.I.P section of the whole thing. You know, they were partying with Jay-Z. They were with Kylie Jenner. And, you know, they're bragging about that. And I mean, I would too. You know, I'll be excited just to be in a broom closet at the event. I don't care how close I am. And then, of course, in the confessional, we see Caroline Brooks and we see Caroline Strawberry. Caroline Brooks, she's just like, okay, just because you were partying with Kylie Jenner in the nosebleeds, That doesn't mean that you had good seats. And then we see Caroline Strawberry. She's just like, well, Beyonce splashed some of the water that she was performing in my face. So I would say that I had the closer seat to her. And I love that they're all just competing with each other and being shady towards each other on who had the closer proximity to Beyonce. Like this is what I want to see on the Real Housewives. Like I want to see exclusivity, like expensive events like this with Beyonce of all people. I don't want to see, I don't want to see chicken shit bingo and, trips to Texas and, having lobster night at, Sharice's house and G&A events with bad fashions and no, I can't do it anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I'm still traumatized. Like, chicken shit bingo. Like, are you serious, Ashley? But, and then Sarah in the confessional, they asked her, oh, how come you didn't go to the event? Oh, that's not my thing. I had to do something that night. I had to write a paper. I was babysitting. I had to cook a steak. I was running. I had to jump off a building. I couldn't do any of that. It's just not my thing. And I'm like, is it not your thing or were you not invited? Which one is the truth, Sarah? But then again, Sarah, she always wants to be the different one. She always wants to be unique. She always wants to be over there, but okay. So Lisa asks Ayan, where do you stand with Caroline Strawberry? She's like, it's kind of like the desert. It's dry. There is no friendship, but I am open to a friendship with her. And as soon as that friendship forms, Lisa, you could just say goodbye to Ayan. And speaking of her, we see Caroline Strawberry and her husband / friend of the show, Sergio, which I was so surprised that he wasn't upgraded to full-time housewife status for his second season. Since he got so much camera time last season, I really thought we were gonna see him in the intro this time around, holding gold coins next to everybody else, but unfortunately, he's still a friend of. So maybe next season, Sergio. So they're driving around town. It's been a year since they've been married. They have so much going on. The house that they started building last season for themselves, it's almost coming to an end. The house is looking nice. It looks beautiful. It's spacious. It honestly makes Kyle Richards' house look like a little storage room. And he feels disconnected from Caroline because they haven't really had a lot of tiki time, as he calls it, intimacy. And it doesn't make it any better that they've been living in her best friend's house for about 12 weeks. 12 weeks? And on top of that, he still wants a child. On season 1, he kept telling Caroline, let's have a baby, let's have a baby. I want you to be pregnant. But Caroline, just like back then, she was just like, okay, maybe in the future, I'm not sure. A year later, nothing has changed. She's just kind of like, okay, I'll put an embryo or two in the refrigerator. We could cook it later, maybe. But right now we have bigger fish to fry. And maybe it is because the house is being built. She's trying to get all of that first. And then she could worry about that. But it just seems like she's not really entertaining the idea, nor does she want to. And I feel like she just does not want to break his heart by telling him, look, I already have my children. I don't want any more, or at least I don't want to put my body through that. You would think that they would have had this important conversation about pregnancy prior to getting married, but it just seems like they're on two different pages. And on top of that, like he said, they're not having any type of intimacy time. And, I know that they're living in the best friend's house, but I mean, Caroline, if I were you and he's my husband and, what did Janet Jackson say? Anytime, any place. Because regardless, Sergio, he is still my husband from day one. I don't care. Caroline, oops. But that's that. They get to the house. I believe that they have a baby room in the house for the future. So at least Caroline is not closed off to the idea completely, but only time will tell. Then we head over to the Glass House, which is Caroline Brooks' new spa and salon. And I love the name, the Glass House. Like, it just sounds like an expensive nightclub. Like, hey, where are you going this weekend? The Glass House. What about you? Like, imagine going there to get a massage, get your hair done, and then you could shake your ass a little bit. Like, Caroline Brooks, I feel like you should invest in a dance floor and a DJ, and you have a triple threat. Like, I see the vision. Call me. But she says that, it's been open for about 3 months. She had a grand opening, a ribbon cut, and the who's who of Dubai was there. Then we see a picture, and I'm looking at the picture, and I see Caroline Strawberry, Sergio, and Sarah. And I'm like, the who's who? I'm looking at the picture like more like who and who? I'm like, maybe the who's who is behind them. Like, Sarah, get out the way. I'm trying to see. And then in the confessional, the producer asked Caroline, so how come you didn't invite Ayan and Lisa? Caroline, she was just like, I mean, I only invite the people that are very important to me. And I'm like, I'm so confused with how Brooks, how she moves with her friendships because, 1 second I thought that they were cool together. Her and Ayan, they do have a very toxic relationship. 1 second they fall out, 2 seconds they're okay. So I don't know, but very wishy-washy, but Regardless, by the way, her confessional with the blue dress, she looks so, so beautiful. And then she also mentions her ex-husband, Zoran. He shows up, and if we remember, because we see in the footage, the flashback, and it is crazy. Side note, the footage says 2021. There's no reason we should be seeing flashbacks from like 3 years ago, and we're only on season 2, and season 2 is premiering in 2024. Like, that just looks crazy. Back then, we saw that their relationship wasn't the best. They were not on speaking terms, but now things are different, especially now that he's paying for the place. I mean, I don't blame her either. Like, yeah, we could be best friends, especially if you're giving me your money. Yeah, we could talk. But then again, I don't know how I would feel about that personally, because I wouldn't want somebody to give me like a handout or to feel like some charity case for me personally. Then again, that's the least you can do for me since you put me through so much trouble. So yeah, Caroline Brooks, I'm not mad at you. Continue taking his money. We then see Sarah with 2 spiritual healers and a bunch of rocks in between them. And I'm like, this is the first scene you want to give us, Sarah? Are you sure? Yeah. Okay, but she's there because she wants to heal from her trauma that she's been through her last 2 marriages. One husband, he cheated on her, hurt her emotionally. The other husband, he was physically abusive to her. And she wants to find love. She wants to find a man. She wants to get married, I think. But she just doesn't want to bring just any random man around her son because her son had to witness her go through these situations, especially see his mom get abused in the second marriage. And she doesn't want to repeat the cycle. So I do feel for Sarah in that aspect. But for me personally, I don't know if you can heal with rocks or whatever they were trying to do here. Because, I mean, I don't know, the 2 people, the guy and the woman, they were banging on some drums, and then they told Sarah to scream into a pillow. She was screaming for a good period of time, and then she removed the pillow off her face, and she's like, I feel so light. I feel light and peace now. I just feel like I healed from the trauma. And I'm like, but just a second ago, you said that you needed to heal. I just don't, me personally, again, I just don't think that you could heal from trauma that quickly from screaming into a pillow. I just don't think that that's how it works. Chanel, Ayan, and Caroline Strawberry finally meet up at this fancy rooftop restaurant to discuss their issues, to see if they could possibly form some type of friendship moving forward and not bump heads like they did every other episode last season. So as Caroline is pulling up to the restaurant, who is she pulling up with? The friend of the show, aka her husband, aka my husband, aka our husband, Sergio. He's right there, front and center again. Like, can you just let your wife be a housewife for a second? Like, don't you have a hobby that you want to do? Like, don't you want to go fishing, play soccer, go take a nap, go do something, go take a shower, like, do something else? Like, just constantly up her ass. You know what they remind me of? They remind me of a much more expensive version of Kim and Kroy from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like, wherever Kim and her wig went, Kroy was right there behind her, waiting outside of anywhere she was filming for the show in his getaway mobile. And that's exactly what Sergio does. Ayan brought her a pineapple and tells her, oh, this reminds me of you. You know, you're prickly, but you're also sweet. Whatever that means, right? It sounds kind of kinky. So Caroline is just like, so what did you think about Beyonce's event? Ayan is just like, well, I was partying with Beyonce's mother, so I had a good time. And, you know, fun fact, you know, I have my own personal story with Beyonce's mother. Once upon a time, I was in a store, right? I was standing here, and then all of a sudden, I see her walk in, and we're locking eyes. She's looking right at me. I'm looking at her, and we're eyeing each other. And I'm like, why do I feel like I know her? Does she know me? And then it clicked, and after a second, I'm like, that's Beyonce's mother, and she's looking right at me. Like, do I look okay? Maybe she wants to put me in her next music video, like, But yeah, that was my interaction with Beyonce's mother. I was way too nervous to say hello, to say anything, so I just did not do anything. I just stared from afar, and that was that. But, so technically I met her, right? So technically by doing that, I technically met Beyonce, right? In a way, yeah, okay. They started discussing their children coming to the States for college, and it was very interesting to hear their perspective from the outside looking in, because they were like, well, our children, Dubai is all they know. They could go outside, everything is fine, everything is okay. Over there, it's a whole different story, which I don't blame them for their opinions because, look at the material. Ayan also mentioned her traumatizing story that she shared on season 1 when she was with Sarah, that Sarah allegedly took that information and she took it to the media and said that Ayan was basically saying this on the show for attention. She was victimizing herself, which is very bold of Sarah to say because if I remember correctly, isn't Sarah all about women empowerment and trying to take control of your life? You were just trying to heal a second ago and screaming into a pillow, and now you're trying to say that Ayan is using this story to victimize herself, like, when this actually happened to her, like, But then again, it's very on brand for Sarah because if I remember correctly from season one, Sarah did come off very judgmental as if she was above everybody and she's like better than everybody else. So I can see it possibly being true. Caroline Brooks is going to be the one to introduce the new housewife, Talene, who replaces Nina from season one. And I really like Nina. Like, yeah, Nina wasn't really part of the drama, but I liked her. I liked her vibe. Her money was on a whole different level, and they still gave her the boot. But I feel like Talene, even though this is the first episode, I feel like she's going to be a good fit. So I'm looking forward to seeing her. But I hope that Nina does come back in the future for a friend of role at least. Like, I still want to see part of her. So Talene is there. Her and Caroline Brooks, they've been friends for over 10 years. They met because Talene is originally from Virginia, I believe. She moved to LA. Then she moved to Dubai with her husband, Rafi, aka Raphael. I can't believe this shit. Somebody's trying to be me? Moi? His name, they call him Rafi, but his full name is Raphael. I get called Rafi as well, so when they were saying Rafi, I'm like, yes? I'm like, Ruff? I am so triggered. I'm like, Raphael, like, I wanted to be the first Raphael on the Real Housewives. Like, that's not fair, but whatever. So they've been friends for over 10 years. When she moved out to Dubai, she was looking for friends. She saw Caroline Brooks. She was just like, oh, somebody from the States. We're clicking, we're friends, and now here we are. And now Caroline Brooks is trying to pin both her friends against each other because she tells Talene, at Beyonce's event, when you were dancing, you were falling over, your legs were up in the sky. First of all, Talene, your legs were up in the sky. You were that drunk in front of Beyonce? In front of Beyonce's mother? Oh, where's the class? But Talene was apparently a mess. Strawberry, she called Caroline Brooks the next day like, oh, hey, yeah, does your friend really, like, does she move like that every single night? Like, did she dance like that? Why was she doing all of that? That's too much. And I don't know, Brooks. I just feel like you're trying to be messy and cause some mess between them. And that's really not how the conversation went. She probably called you like, hello, Caroline Brooks. I would love to hang out with your friend Talene. She seemed like such a good time, and me and Sergio would love to hang out with both of you. Let's make it happen soon. Ta-ta, cheerio. And that was that. But now you're trying to paint it in this lighting so Talene could be upset with her and come after her. I don't know, but we'll see. But Talene obviously took the bait because she's like, oh, really? So you're going to give me my first storyline? Okay, so mission accomplished. I'm going after Caroline Strawberry. We get to Lisa's Good Weather Girls Brunch event at the beach. Can we just call it breakfast? I swear the housewives will come up with any type of crazy title for their event, right? I'm still not over Nini's Girls and Gays Forever White Party. Like, what was that? But her and Chanel Ayan, they're the first to show up. They're both dressed really, really nicely, but they're both wearing the wrong type of shoe because they're both wearing platform high heel shoes to walk on a beach. Then we see Kim and Croy 2.0 show up, aka Sergio and Caroline Strawberry. He's dropping her off, surprise, surprise. So she gets out the car, he gets out the car. I'm looking at him like, why are you getting out the car? Get back in the car and drive away. You know, but he wants to be a housewife, so he's giving her some advice like, honey, you have to be careful. You know, you have to be ready for anything. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm going for brunch. I'm not going for war. And he's just like, no, you have to be ready for anything. So at least he gets how this goes. But Caroline Strawberry, it seems that it's not clicking with you up here yet. So eventually he gets back in the car, he drives away, but he doesn't really drive away. You know, he makes a U-turn, he parks his car behind a bush, he takes out his binocular glasses, and of course he's observing from far away, just in case if he has to crash the party, right? So eventually, Caroline Strawberry, she gets with Chanel and Lisa. She and Lisa, obviously, they bumped heads at the reunion last season. You know, she accused Lisa of being an escort in Miami, and Lisa accused her of being in connection with Jeffrey Epstein. So crazy accusations, but now they're like, okay, let's try to, you know, hug it out and try to, you know, sweep it underneath the rug. Like, that is crazy to just move on. But, you know, that's what you have to do on The Real Housewives, right? But both of them are willing to do it, to be open-minded about it, and that's that, right? You know, they clink drinks, and that's that. We see Talene, Sarah, Caroline Brooks. They show up. They come to the table. And Caroline Brooks, you know, she already came with very questionable, you know, energy towards Caroline Strawberry, which I don't understand where it's coming from. You know, like, are you really that upset over her comment that she possibly made about Talene? Like, you love her so much, but you're just aiming at her nonstop because they started discussing the Beyonce concert, right? They start discussing about who's been in V.V.I.P and Talene falling over. Caroline Strawberry, even she brings it up, and she doesn't really say it maliciously. Maliciously, she was just like, "Oh yeah, you fell over, haha." That was that. Even Talene didn't take it personal. The only person who took it personal was Brooks. And in the confessional, she was just like, "Are you trying to come for my friend? Like, are you trying to embarrass her? Why are you bringing that up?" And I'm like, I thought this was a funny conversation or a lighthearted conversation. Like, what is going on? What's the problem? Like, why are you taking it so personal? I believe Sarah starts talking about how she wants to find a man. She's trying to heal. She's trying to do all of that. Ayan, she starts getting a little bothered and she's like, it's really bothering me that you're talking about healing and doing all this. You're being a hypocritical person when you took my business about my life. You took it to the media and you said that I was a victim. So Sarah, they start bumping heads. Lisa, she jumps in it. She's like, "No, you're a hypocrite. You did take it to the media." And I'm like, "Lisa, relax. This is between Ayan and Sarah." Sarah's just like, "I never done such a thing. What are you talking about? I never called you a victim." Ayan is just like, "Yes, you did. Yes, you did." Eventually, Strawberry again. She's not getting how this housewife thing works because she's like, "Okay, can both of you go away for a second because I'm trying to eat my bread." And I'm like, "Caroline Strawberry, fuck your bread. Like, this is about drama right now. Like, not about you." Like, if anything, maybe for season 3, maybe we should swap her and Sergio and see how that works because I feel like he'll give a little bit more oomph to it, right? So eventually, Ayan and Sarah, they move by the pool. Sarah swears that she never did such a thing. If anything, they misconstrued her words because she said, "Well, I didn't necessarily call you a victim. I just said that you cannot victimize what you went through and put it on somebody else." And I believe she used the same quote on season 1. You can't bleed on people when you were already bleeding or some shit like that. Some fake deep stuff that she said. And then Ayana's just like, "Do I look like a person who bleeds?" I'm like, then what are you, Ayan, a robot? So she was basically trying to initiate that Ayan sometimes uses excuses because of the things that she went through in life, that it's okay for her to behave or to say whatever to anybody else with no type of, repercussion or any type of, reply. And I feel like Ayan's issue, what I noticed this episode, is that she does not like when somebody else is also matching her energy. And I feel like Sarah was matching her energy to a certain extent, and she does not like that because she was just like, "Well, I'm the center of attention, and that's that." She even said that out loud. And I'm like, "Oh, Ayan, you're kind of making me cringe." And Sarah was just like, "You see, that's what I'm talking about, and nobody could say nothing to you because the second that you do, you take it personal and you get your feelings hurt, but you could say whatever to me." Even some of the tweets that she was tweeting to Sarah, like, "Oh, you're a fake model now, haha. Oh, it was just a joke." But if somebody was to say that about you, Ayan, you would take it personal. So I could kind of sort of see what Sarah is talking about. She didn't necessarily say that she was using it to be a victim, but I could see what she was talking about. Ayan, I don't know. I just feel like she's gonna end up looking bad this season, but I don't know. That's just my prediction for the future. But we'll see how that turns out because they kept yelling at each other, and then she gets up. She's like, "You know what? F this. I'm not doing this." She walks away, and then she tells Sarah, "Sarah, instead of doing all these surgeries to your faces," and I'm like, Ayan, because we all seen the pictures of, before and after of Sarah, but that was crazy to say because she was just like, "Instead of getting all these surgeries on your face, you need to do surgery on your soul." And I'm like, well, she walked away, and then I believe Sarah, she was just like, "Oh, you need to stop renting clothes." Boo. I'm kind of siding with Sarah a little bit, or somewhere in the middle. Brooks is a little sloppy drunk, or at least that's what it looked like, because she was just like, "Wait a minute, Strawberry. So wait, what's going on between you and Talene? What's happening? Why are you bringing this up about her falling over?" And I'm like, again, Brooks, you're the only one taking something like that personal. Nobody else cares. And then Talene even addresses it with Strawberry, and she's just like, "Do we have an issue?" She was just like, "No, everything is fine. Like, I just called Brooks and we talked about it, and that was that." And Talene was just like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And that's that. But then Strawberry tells Brooks, "I'm never calling you in the morning again because obviously you twist my words and you make it seem as if I was being malicious or being shady when that's not the case." So obviously, Brooks, I don't know. Are you a good friend to anybody? Because you're not a good friend to Lisa or Ayan. And now the close friend that you had, Strawberry, you're throwing her underneath the bus. So it's only a matter of time before you do it to Talene. Or at least it seems that way. You have no loyalty. You kind of just wherever. But We also get a little bit more backstory of Talene. Talene actually used to be a singer, an artist. She was signed with Jamie Foxx. She opened up for Christina Aguilera. That's impressive. And she gave it all up for a man. Because she claimed that she found love with Raphael 2.0 because I'm the original. And, she was just like, well, it's either my career or love. And I chose love. And, it was worth it in the end. Was it Talene? Because, I don't know. What did Beyonce say? Couldn't you meet in the middle? That's my technique. Let me know what you all thought about the premiere of season 2. Do you see potential with Talene? Do you miss Nina? I thought it was a good episode, especially the whole focus being centered around, who was sitting closer to Beyonce. Like, that's not something that we typically see on the Housewives anymore because none of them are luxurious anymore. But, so it's nice to see, the money and expensiveness and the fancy events and the clothes and all of that. It's nice to see that again. So I'm looking forward to this season, but unfortunately, I'm not looking forward to seeing Chanel Ayan and Lisa's friendship fall apart, and, that's going to be unfortunate. But let me know what you all thought about this episode down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.